Welcome to another edition of Spartan Spotlight on RubberRunSports.com. We are here this week from the brand new Velocity Wings in Bristol, Virginia. I'm John Moore, joined as always by Robbie and Papa, and the star of our show, West Springfield head coach, Jason Eldridge. Coach?
Spartan Spotlight, a.k.a. my losing season. Cool.
Well, you have to think of it in a different way. Maybe it's, okay, there's not really.
Right, no, there's no thinking. It's fine.
Well, let's get into it. I blame it on John.
I'm not going to blame it on him. I appreciate his support.
Right,
I appreciate your support, John. Thank you.
I'm so fired up.
I'm with you. We let you down, and I apologize for that. I'll be honest. Lake Braddock is the most complete team that I have seen all year. Yeah. And when I'm telling you all that, given who you know we've played, that says a lot. If they keep their act together, I don't see another team beating them through our region. It's just my opinion. It's a professional opinion, but it's a real one. Game was close for a while. We fought them for a little bit. We managed to mess some things up in the first half. We had 4 possessions in the red zone and came away with only 3 points. Threw 2 picks in the end zone. Stopped them on a 4th down. We got 3 turnovers in that game too. Couldn't convert them on their end. So we did some things to kind of combat what they were bringing to the table. But then, you know, over time, their size and athleticism, it just kind of wore on us. And, you know, Pete didn't play particularly well. And I thought he would play better. But, you know, that it is what it is. And, you know, I'm proud of the guys. They're coming out and fighting every week. And that's the thing. Like, when you're 1-7, obviously I had to have the discussion that, you know, week 11 is off the table now. Let's just try to fight for the last 2 weeks. And we have senior night coming up. Let's do everything we can for these seniors. But they're coming out and they're competing. And I can't ask for anything more than that right now. We're just not very good. And we show signs of being good. And then we also show the signs of not being good. So it is what it is.
So the disappointments of, you know, a season where you're not making the playoffs, is there a little pressure off now, knowing that part of it's over?
Yeah,
guys
absolutely.
Just come out and have fun.
It's 13 days,
right?
And I want what I told the guys was, you know, they had a homecoming dance. Let's enjoy these days together. You know, here's the thing. Even in the playoffs, and I learned this last year from the year before. You know, we were a higher seed a year ago. We had a home game in the first round, and we came out, and it was a very disappointing effort for us in that first round playoff game. We lost to West Potomac, and that was a week later. And so when you get to week 10, you know, 16 teams will get in and will fight for that tournament. 8 of them will be done 6 days later. So, you know, you got to take it all with a grain of salt in the fact that you work all this time to get to an apex to your season. Well, our apex will now be Woodson Annandale in lieu of, say, week 11. And I just want them to enjoy the time together, particularly this last week. It's our last game at home. And the one thing I told the seniors was, you know, you guys have been successful as football players. What I need you to do is show the younger guys how to win now in the last 2 weeks. And let's end the season on a good note that will maybe springboard the younger guys and their work ethic to be better the next year. Because they've experienced getting in the playoffs, being in playoffs at home, winning a playoff game here or there, you know, winning a conference championship. They've experienced some of that. And what I want them to do is enjoy their time together. You know, here's an example of what I'm talking about. After the Lake Braddock game, I walk into the locker room because we're getting laundry going. Kids are up on the benches karaokeing Take On Me, the 80s version. It's that kind of thing, you know, and you look at that like, oh, we just lost to Braddock. How could you do that? And like, you know, normal coaches would probably want to kill them.
Right.
But for me, that's a memory they're going to share in 10 years. Yeah. So that's what I want them to do.
I question their choice in songs. That's the song I hate the
great
most in the world.
Come on.
Whoa,
Let's sing it, Rob. Come on. Come on, buddy.
I hate that song more than any song ever. I don't know. Please tell me it wasn't you, Daniel. Please tell me it wasn't you. You got Woodson and Annandale in the last 2 weeks. It's been like most teams in the area. It's been an up and down year for both of those teams. But I mean, they're still going to present problems.
Absolutely.
We know that.
Their quarterback's pretty good.
Yeah,
I like him.
Absolutely. Yeah. JoJo, I like him a lot. And also Daquan Williams, I think.
Yes.
250 yards on Friday, I think.
Right.
So, they're going to present some problems.
Yep.
What do you want your team to focus on? I mean, forget about the injuries, forget about all those things. For these last 2 weeks, is it just throwing everything out the door and just focus on those two, or is it have as much fun as possible?
It's both. It's a little bit of both. We're gonna be a little bit more loose with the playbook because there's not anything on the line.
Right. That'll be fun to watch right there.
Well, did you see the first play? Did you see the first play of Lake Braddock on offense for us? It was a reverse flea flicker that we scored a touchdown on to tie the game 7-7. I mean, Braddock went down and scored a touchdown in like 3 plays or something, and of course we had to adjust to that. But our first play was reverse flea flicker, and got the crowd engaged. That's what we want. I want a vibrant environment for our fans, for our community, for us. I want an exciting game. I want those kids to enjoy their last 8 quarters of football, the seniors speaking of. So we're going to do a little bit of both of that, but at the end of the day, we have a little bit of a score to settle with this team. I mean, last year, they beat us. We blew us a 14-point lead in the fourth quarter. We looked kind of like Ohio State against Penn State last night, right? Same kind of deal, and it cost us a top 5 seed. Yeah. Instead, we went in as the 8 instead of the 5, and that burns me still, and I want them to feel that burn a little bit. So there's a little bit of a score to settle there, but then also, I think for us, we don't want to go into these games thinking, oh, this season's been terrible. Let's just look to the future. I mean, that's all you can do when things are not going right in anything you do in life. What you need to do is pick up and look to what's coming. And so I just want them to be excited about playing football. For some of them, they will never play football again. And for others, they are going to the next level. But that's going to be a struggle too. And so this now is what you have to enjoy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
So you talked about opening up the playbook a little bit. Now, Coach Verbannik will deny this, but when I was in high school, during a playoff game against Stewart that we won, I believe it was 48-14, there were 2 plays that all year long that Eric Hall wanted to run fumble Ruski. And I always called for always called for the halfback throwback where I could throw a touchdown pass.
Gosh.
And in that game in the fourth quarter, we ran successfully both plays.
Wow.
So there's some plays that
he never did that when I played for him. We ran crisscross pass.
I'm a very influential person.
Are you?
This dates back.
Okay.
This dates back. So there's some plays that the kids have been getting. I know there's always the running back or the wide out who thinks he can play quarterback. There's some plays not to tip your hat right now.
Yep.
But
there are.
All right.
And it's got to be the right situation.
Sure.
You got to have the right personnel in. Obviously, we just want the kids to enjoy the experience. And so along those lines, John, that's what we're coaching, right? Coaching has now changed for us. It's more not the pressure of we have to win this game to keep our season hopes alive come the end of the year. It's now more, how can we make this as engaging as possible for the retention of the kids that are not seniors for next year, but then also to, again, grasp a good memory for what otherwise, you two both know this as well as I do, you don't forget a single second of your senior year athletic situation.
Right.
You just don't forget it. So, I mean, I want it to be a fond memory. And if it's, karaokeing Take On Me after a game or a fumble Ruski, we should do it. And
Absolutely.
So that's, I have left it up to my assistants to make those decisions, but I am also advising them as a consultant. Let's please just loosen up.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm just going to take a guess here that the player that bugs you most about running a play has got to be Najee. It's got to be Najee that wants to run a trick play for him.
Yeah, I mean, Najee's always on his own scope, it seems like. But yeah, I want for Najee, I want him to, the kid's almost a 180 turnaround. He works, he He's been doing better academically. His performance on the field this year it's been up and down. I mean, last week he didn't play very well, but in other weeks against West Potomac, they couldn't guard him.
Yeah.
I think this kid has an avenue that he can do some things at the next level if he works to it. He will come to the table with his own ideas, for sure. I want him to have some fun in particular because he's learned a lot about what life is going to bring him in these last few months. So I feel like, this will be good for him. But sure, he and Daniel, Pete too. I mean, Pete's going to come with his quirky things also. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on every week, and we're looking forward to the game next week and the final after that.
Hey, we got some people to try some waffle crisp, and it was good. Yes, sir. It was good.
Coach Jason Aldridge. I'm John Moore. I'm Jim Papa.
Next week we'll talk BLTs.
Absolutely. And come get some wings at Velocity Wings. This place is incredible.
Yeah, this place, new place, looks great. Looks great. Absolutely.
See you guys next week.